Hey guys, Gameboy3800 here once again for Confident Gaming, and today we're going to be looking at a car I just took a look at, but I have modified it to make it both faster, more stable, and better all around. And it is not this truck at all. We're just going to be using this truck to get to the place where we need to go. And try not to kill it. Or maybe try, since that's the goal of the game. Maybe this next jump up here will kill it. And that will be the death of the day. Hopefully, maybe, probably. 2.5 chance. Woo. It lives, but it's upside down, so that's good enough. And up to the racetrack, since that's where we will be testing. God damn it. Yeah, god damn it, fuck you. I was trying to see if it would land back on its wheels and I would say awesome at the end, but nope. It was indeed very not awesome. So the vehicle we're going to be taking a look at is the TS67 once again. And first thing we're going to do is actually drive it off the cliff here and reset it right here. And we're going to do a top speed run and then try to turn once it gets up to top speed and see what happens. You can see that the RPM gets up to 8,000 and it shifts at about 7,700 RPM. 200, no problem. And if you give it enough time, it can get up to 230 miles per hour, which is incredible. It's one of the fastest cars you can personally you can easily download. There you go. You could download one of the drag trucks or some other car that has a sort of turbo to, of course, make it go faster. But then again, those are really old mods and they are no longer supported, at least officially. Alright, what happens if we try to turn at 230 miles an hour? We immediately flip over and there's not really much we can do. And we've reached the edge of the map here. Reset. We can also do donuts if we want to, but when accelerating, we don't want donuts at all. So, let's take us back home. And get us back on the racetrack. And we will do a very quick lap. I say quick because this car is faster on the track, and also because it's just a demonstration to show how fast it can go on the track. Yay! Throw it in the manual for this. We can see that it is very unstable. It does not want to be on this track at all. You can see it bouncing all over the place, even though this is a perfectly smooth track. Once we go straight and over 200 miles per hour, it does even out a little bit, but it is still no longer perfect. It was never perfect, but you get the idea. It's not an easy car to drive at any sort of speed, or at least on this racetrack. Yeah, once we get above 200, I can safely say it's a lot more stable, although it is kind of slidey coming out of turn, so you have to watch out for that. Now, when I go to my modified version, I will show you what I modified and then the final result of what the modification was. And whoa! I was going to say, how did I survive half the car being off the track? But then it didn't survive, and now it's bent up in a pretzel that no one would bother to eat. So that's about it for this version. I will now go to what I modified with the new version of the car. In 32 now. Okay, we are here at my desktop. It's in 4K, so I'm sorry if you can't see it too well, but who cares? Okay, so for the engine, it had a top RPM of 8,000 before. I have given it 9,000 now. And now, it's got more horsepower than before, more torque at each RPM stage. So it would be 126, it's now 226. It was 185, now it's 285, and so on and so on. I pretty much add 100 to everything. But of course, since it topped out at 8,000 here, I had to add a 9,001. And you would keep adding from the more RPMs you want to add. I was testing it up to 15,000, but I found that it was useless since it became uncontrollable after a certain speed. So it was 7,700 since the max RPM is 9,000 here. I had shift up RPM set to 8,700, and that seems to have done a lot. And then inertia, I left everything here unchanged. So now the front wheels, not too much was changed here. Just the hub friction coefficient was moved from 0.5 to 0.9. Not entirely sure if it does anything, but it does seem to help. And then where is it? It's another friction coefficient. It was 1.85. I put it up to 2.2 or something. We're getting there. There we go. It was 1.85, it's now 2.20. That's all I did there. I did a very similar thing for the rear tires, except I did something a lot more. Hub friction coefficient was from 0.5 to 0.9 once again. But then the true coefficient, like friction or traction coefficient, which changed from 3.85 to 9.99. So now there's no chance of it burning out or spinning out or doing donuts, and everything is good to go. Now, since you can't usually have two versions of the same car at once, what you need to do is actually open up your document section and go to Vehicles, Documents, Beamng.Drive, and Vehicles. And this is unzipped, and this is zipped. If I could simply modify it in here, like if I try to do anything and try to save it where it is, it's not going to because I cannot save it inside a compressed folder. So I'm not going to save that. And instead what we need to do is just take out the zip folder entirely and put in the unzipped one with the modified files. And now it's in there. And now we'll see you back in the game. Okay, we are back and we have our car, but before we start, since we unzipped it or because something went wrong, I'm not sure, we no longer have a picture, but it still spawns up just fine as you can see here. Now taking a look at the tachometer, I guess, it goes up to 9,000, I guess 10,000 if you count the red. Now as soon as we get going, you will see that the traction did work because we no longer just do a burnout forever. And because of the added power, we also get up to speed a lot faster. And this actually makes this one of the best cars to make or modify. And sure, you could just modify the pickup truck a lot and make it go fast like they have with the drag version. But it is not meant to go at these speeds at all. It will instantly flip over. So this car is much better suited for higher speeds. And we actually didn't increase its top speed overall too much. We have it just right so that it's still controllable but fun. As you shall see. Wow, okay. There we go. We're out of the wall. So, get it into gear. The front tires are still wobbly, but as soon as we breach 175 miles an hour, they get more stable. They do still warp, but it is more controllable overall because it's no longer sliding out of control. The only way you could get out of control is to traction roll it, which is actually quite possible now. But you can see we're at 250 miles an hour. So a big improvement in top speed and overall control. After this last few turns, we will see its top speed and give the conclusion. The only way I see this car being any better is that because it's in beta or alpha, I don't know which one, there's probably going to be updates to make it more stable all around, like the tires no longer wobbling or warping. And, I couldn't finish. Oh well. Close enough, right? Let us begin the top speed run now. $250, $255, almost $260. This is actually the perfect top speed for this car because literally any faster, it will start to weave from side to side without any input like I'm giving it now. And then eventually, it could risk traction rolling it about like this. Actually, I can't even traction roll it. There we go. It's lifting up. But yeah, at 270, 275, it would traction roll and become uncontrollable. Like, I tested this car up to 15,000 RPM and it had the potential to go well beyond 300 miles per hour, but it would be so uncontrollable past 270 that it would not be worth it. So I put it down to 9,000, which is the max fun speed. Now, if future revisions make it stable at even higher speeds, like 290 or something like that, then I could see better potential, like 300 plus. But until a more stabilized version is out, I don't see any reason to go beyond 9,000. In case you were wondering, I did not change the brakes on this at all, because they have just the right amount of, I guess, power to stop the car, that it doesn't skid the tires, and it doesn't make it just go out of control. So if I slam on the brakes now at 260 miles an hour, you can see that even though there's no ABS, we're not skidding the tires. And that's good for control. Let's see if I can get up to top speed from 5th gear. Oh yes. Actually no, let's start it in 5th gear. This is the kind of power we're talking about. Starting up in 5th gear and going from 0 to 200 to 250. 60. It's pretty insane. No other car in the universe can do this. But who cares? That's going to conclude it for this video. If you liked, then please remember to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, Gameway out. See you next time. That wheel, though.